The NHL salary cap is slightly higher than projected at $88 million, according to Gary Bettman. We'll tell you all about it next, as well as how it can benefit the VGK, right here on Locked On Golden Knights.
You're Locked On Golden Knights, your daily podcast on the Vegas Golden Knights, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hi again, everyone. Tony Cardasco, Chris Golick from Las Vegas. Thanks for making us your first listen each and every day. Find us wherever you get your podcast, and please subscribe to our Locked On Golden Knights YouTube channel. We are brought to you today by FanDuel. Go to FanDuel.com/LockedOn. New customers get $150 in bonus bets with any winning $5 bet. Now that VGK and the NHL officially know that there's going to be more money available in the salary cap this upcoming season, can VGK use this money perhaps to sign Jonathan Marchessault? Brother, can you spare a dime? The increase overall is $4.5 million. So you couple the $4.5 million in the salary cap, additional money, with, let's say, another 4.5 matching funds from the Convention and Visitors Authority. Who knows? Maybe that could happen. And the cap was, sorry about that. The cap was $83.5 million, 83.5. Gary Bettman said that this means revenues are robust at this time. And he said that he predicts the cap will continue to rise.
For a team that's pinching pennies at the salary with the salary cap every year, the Golden Knights just got their hands on 30 million more pennies to have some fun with. So that's certainly a good
30 million
thing.
Or 300,000 pennies. Oh, 30 million pennies.
30 million pennies.
Okay.
Come on, bro.
That's good. Okay, I got you.
I'm on my second coffee.
Monday.
I'm sharp this morning. I'm sharp.
Yeah, you are sharp. It's Monday.
2 coffees and a banana. Golic's good. All right.
And a high and tight on the haircut.
Very high and tight. Look at that glare going on up there right now. It's hot. It's summer months. All right. Moves the Golden Knights from about 5.9 to about $6.2 million in available funds heading into the 2024-25 season. But again, $6.2 million does not go that far when you consider all these players either need contracts or need clarity on their situations. Dorofeev is an RFA. Amadio, Carrier, Mantha, Marchessault, Stevenson, the big ones, obviously. Alec Martinez, there's the UFAs. Yuri Patera is a UFA, but it's goalie. It says G6. I'm assuming he's basically an RFA is what that ends up meaning. There's some other rules beyond that. We'll talk about that another time. At the AHL level, you also got Leighton Ahak, Caden Korczak, who are RFAs, along with Ivan Morozov, Mason Primu, Byron Frazee, who obviously got a fair amount of time at the Golden Knights level, and then of course Sheldon Rempel, who is believed to be going to the KHL next season. Unfortunately for the Silver Knights, not as much for the Golden Knights, but for the Silver Knights. So that's a lot of money. That's not going to go very far, even though those 30 million pennies will not last very long when it comes to negotiating all those deals. And keep in mind, someone like a Caden Korczak, it's an RFA deal, but it's not going to be a two-way deal based on his time of service. So Korczak's cap space is going to count against the VGK level for the entire season. So, yeah, a lot of juggling that still needs to be done, but there's at least maybe a couple more inches of the water went down a couple of inches if you're at the top trying to get whatever air you can. You got a little bit of relief right there, Kelly McCrimmon. So we'll see if that's allocated to a Jonathan Marchessault, allocated elsewhere, and it doesn't change the situation, right? I mean, if something big is going to happen involving Marchessault staying in Vegas, this doesn't mean a Braden McNabb or a Shea Theodore are safe by any means, but it does allow maybe a little bit more room when it comes to maybe reconsidering a Michael Amadio if he doesn't want $3 million, of course.
Yeah. The cap rising helps VGK some, an additional $300,000, as you said, or most of the other guys' salary. A little bit might help Yuri Patera. Noah Hannafin already is inked $7.35 million.
But they
and
don't
that was
negotiate deals after the trade
we
deadline.
don't,
Just so you know,
not
it's
at
a really
all.
important time. It's a really
No,
important time. Gotta
no,
focus.
it's so
Gotta
important.
focus. Make
When those
playoffs.
eyebrows don't move, and are you still a believer in Kelly McCrimmon? You were the biggest honk on the planet for McCrimmon
Kelly
for a while
McCrimmon
there.
has a ring on his finger, and he's done everything right. I am 100,000%.
Everything right?
Yeah, I think so. I
Okay,
mean,
what
okay,
would
he missed on Anthony Mantha. That's where you're going to start with.
Oh, he
Fine.
missed so bad on Mantha.
He missed on
Bjorn
Tomas
Foote.
Hertl. That was McPhee technically. It's not going to go perfect, but this is 2 seasons ago, Tony. You and I had a discussion leading up to the Stanley Cup season where I argued vehemently that McCrimmon was doing a good job. You, I don't think, were as intrigued as I was, as confident as I was, and
I'm not.
my guy won the Stanley Cup. So I know there's again, I get emotional over the Marchessault situation.
He won the Stanley Cup with not even the best team of all time here in Las Vegas.
Exactly. So there you go. Look at that. Look how good he is. But I mean, listen, if Marchessault needs to go because that's what McCrimmon thinks is best for the team, then fine, so be it. I'm okay with that. We all get emotional over Marchessault.
Let me ask you this. What would the public perception of this team be if Marchessault departs?
It's weird because there's 2 perceptions of the golden image as far as the Golden Knights are concerned. There's the first one in the sense that they're cutthroat, right? What'd you call them? The evil Golden Empire? Is that we were talking about last week or something like that?
Something like that, yeah.
So, and it's fair. I mean, listen, Kelly McCrimmon is heartless and ruthless when it comes to putting the best roster out there. And I'm okay with that. Again, this team's been to there's been 2 Stanley Cups award on T-Mobile Ice, for crying out loud, in the first 7 years of this franchise. Kelly McCrimmon is a huge part of that. So there's the side that's just no one cares, right? No one cares about Marc-Andre Fleury being traded as far as, Kelly McCrimmon and stuff like that. They don't care about Nate Schmidt being traded. They don't care if Marchessault ends up going, if it's in the best interest. But then you do look at this golden image where Jonathan Marchessault finally talks to the media without any VGK employees to slow him down from talking. And then all of a sudden this announcement, whether it's a FUBAR, whether it's just a ceremonial type of thing, who knows? But all of a sudden this information is leaked to the NHL network. Okay, we're going to meet and we're going to talk with Marchessault. We're going to get this worked out. It's so, yeah, there's 2 sides to this golden image, but at the end of the day, McCrimmon don't care. He's going to put together the right roster to put the team in the best possible place to hopefully win a Stanley Cup as soon as possible. I say hopefully. I still, even with Marchessault, I don't see VGK as a cup contender next year, but that's another story for another time.
On the napkin.
Yeah, no, McCrimmon will do what is best for the window.
They won't make the playoffs, and then McCrimmon on the PowerPoint will say best team ever that we've ever fielded on paper. Injuries, bad eyes.
Do you think that's really just GM speak? Is he pleading to Foley when he makes a comment like that?
Absolutely.
You think so?
Absolutely.
So you think McCrimmon feels as safe as Cassidy?
I think Cassidy's safer at this juncture right now. This act's got to be getting old. It's got to be getting old. Okay, I did call them. I remember now because
4 napkins.
A little foggy from the weekend, but I did call them the medieval empire. Medieval empire.
And I got the golden image.
Okay, I want to get a shirt that says the medieval empire. You okay there, brother? Sorry, man. Didn't mean to make you gag.
No.
Okay, you're bad. Same here. And okay, so they were supposed to meet. NHL Network said within a week. Allegedly, there was supposed to be a meeting Friday. I don't know what became of it or if it happened or not with the Marchessault camp and VGK. Interesting. We haven't heard anything, but we're not going to negotiate this through the media.
Okay? I mean, maybe no news is good news because.
But hear me out, though. There's already spinning in the PR way all sorts of stuff, planting stories in the local media. There are planted stories in the local media currently to try to help the cause, to try to put out any kind of damage control right now for VGK. They go to the NHL network. These guys aren't coming back. We're going to start our conversations with Marchessault and his camp, and also Chandler Stevenson and his people. Again, they are spinning like I can't say that word. Can I say mofo? I'll say that. That's what they're spinning like. They're spinning like a top right now.
Is there a song where you spin me around? Never mind. Okay. Listen, again, it's a golden image, right? But if there was a meeting on Friday, I have no clue. But if there was some type of meeting recently, I guess I'll say it like that. The fact that maybe nothing was talked about over the weekend with the media, maybe that is good news. Maybe that is good news that there was some type of headway made, because if it wasn't good news, I think both sides would have maybe quietly said something the same way VGK allegedly alerted the NHL network of this meeting with Marchessault and his camp that was supposed to happen within the last few days. So let's hope that's good news, that nothing's being talked about in the public eye. That said, it's another day for another 5 p.m. news dump, so we'll see what ends up happening there. I mean, it seems like everything I'm hearing is term is the issue right now, which is fair. I mean, I guess there's two things I want to know right now. One, what is the gap as far as where Marchessault and his team, where Marchessault and Brisson want to be? Where does McCrimmon want to be? And is the bridge passable? The second question I have is, Marchessault, we know, he said it himself, wanted to negotiate this last offseason. I want to know, Marchessault had a number in his head. Brisson had a number in his head. I want to know what that number is now and how many more millions and extra years it is now.
I bet you it was around 6 plus 6.25 at the start of the season. And then whenever VGK wants to spin things, pay attention, folks. Let's plant some Carlson stories out there. This is how they try to counter. They do. Check it out. Vegas Bjorn all over the media. For what reason this past week?
He's multiplying.
Coming up.
So is
this
going to be Gordon?
Coming up next, Stanley Cup Finals, Game 2 tonight. And can the Oilers bounce back and steal one in South Florida? We'll get to that when we return right here on this edition of Locked On Golden Knights.
Spicy.
It's winner take all time in the NBA and the NHL, and FanDuel is giving you a shot to bring home the big win of your very own. Right now, new customers get $150 in bonus bets with any winning $5 bet. That's $150 to bet on point spreads, money lines, player props, and much, much more. Visit FanDuel.com/lockedon and make every playoff shot count. FanDuel, it's America's #1 sportsbook. Back on this spicy edition of Locked On Golden Knights. That's what you just said, right? Thanks for making us your first listen each and every day. Find us wherever you get your podcast. Please subscribe to our Locked On Golden Knights YouTube channel. And, of course, on Fridays, WTF, Off the Rails. Again, this past Friday, you could line up I think we had comments already yesterday. And then on Saturday, it's the Chris and Chris Jr. show, the YouTube exclusive. How's little Chris doing?
We're doing better. We had a game on Saturday. He was questionable all week. I honestly, as of Wednesday or Thursday, didn't think he was going to be making the trip to City National for our game on Saturday night. But dude got it together and shook it off. And we lost on Saturday, but that's okay. That's going to happen. We get to make it up tonight, hopefully back in our home arena at America First Center right here in Henderson, and see if the Young Guns can have a better outcome tonight.
Oh, it's a home game.
Home game. Home game. That's right.
The Florida Panthers in a home game were very dominant on Saturday in the 3-0 win in game number 1 of the Cup Final. I just saw a statistic that Connor McDavid is 5-1 and has 16 points after a loss. So the stage, though, on Saturday, jot that down. Let's go to the window. The stage belonged to Sergei Bobrovsky on Saturday. The Bob breakaway chances stopped, included Adam Henrique on the breakaway. Matthias Janmark, the VGK alum, Bob studied his own PowerPoint is what happened there. The helicopter save, unbelievable on Nugent Hopkins. And then Anton Lundell, after the game, called him the best goalie in the world. And Bob was definitely on.
I mean, I guess I'll say Sean Burke is a better goaltending coach than whoever the Edmonton goalie coaches. We'll start there. I mean, listen, Florida did what Florida was supposed to do, right? They took care of business, and there's a business mentality happening right now in Florida. And this is the one thing that did concern me when I did make my Edmonton selection, as all of us on the panel did on Friday, was that Florida was just going to, I don't want to say smother. I mean, Oilers got 32 shots on goal. Now, I get it. The Oilers were chasing the game from basically the first period on, so they're going to shoot more. But still, 32 to 18 in the shots departments. This isn't, and I'm not knocking, I mean, I am knocking DeBoer, but whatever, fine. This isn't DeBoer just telling the Golden Knights to fire 40 times and see what happens.
From the perimeter.
Right, but you got McDavid. Yeah, exactly. You got McDavid. You got Draisaitl. You got Evander Kane mucking it up. You got Corey Perry. You got Nugent Hopkins. We can go on and on. These fellas are all getting high danger after high danger after high danger. So I don't see the same outcome happening. I think a lot of people are very excited about Florida, and they should. Now, let's take a deeper dive into both of the goals that they scored. You start with the Verhaeghe goal. Barkov, I don't want to say torches Connor McDavid, but Barkov got a step on McDavid, and McDavid couldn't catch him.
One step? I thought 2 or 3 steps. Oh,
okay, my fine. McDavid can usually catch most players going backwards.
I know.
With 2 or 3 steps. So that's important. And then Evander Kane was the passenger of passengers on the Evan Rodriguez goal. If you go back and watch that goal, Rodriguez just goes right down a center strip right there. And Evander Kane, was one. I'm not going to take that shot. Evander Kane just didn't chase, and all of a sudden it's a 2-0 ball game.
Yeah, and in hits, substantial, 63-35. What about the Sam?
Which side? Got to be Florida, right?
Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, Florida.
I was assuming. I didn't know.
What about the Sam Bennett hit on McDavid? That was large. And then Kane just punches. He just punched Tkachuk in the face right in front of the ref.
Listen, I think we're all for the right level of violence. It's a Stanley Cup Final. It's nothing different than the stuff we were watching. I remember game 1 of the Cup Final being there last year and watching how intimidating Florida was. Now, Vegas kept their heads, and obviously better things happened as that series progressed. I don't like the behind the play stuff. I don't like the behind the play stuff on either side. Someone also took, I think Bennett got crushed later in the game too, if I'm not mistaken, from these behind the play type of things where players are acting like they don't see each other. I don't want to see McDavid get knocked out of the series because of something like that. I don't want Sam Bennett to get knocked out of the series like that. If it's a clean hit, basically what Kolesar did to Tkachuk, fine. That's part of the game. Or what Tkachuk almost did to Jack Eichel, fine, so be it. Those are clean hits. That's part of the game. But I don't want to see a superstar on either side sustain some gross injury because these players are accidentally on purpose hitting each other behind the plays. This is the biggest, hopefully remaining 6 games for the NHL this season, and hopefully they'll get it right.
In the circus, right? Okay, if there's a tragedy, they are told to play the music, John Philip Sousa's Stars and Stripes Forever. Okay, that's in the circus. There's a tragedy.
Where are you going?
So if VGK sends out Carlson as something that kind of preempts any kind of issues that they might have, or the public perception being down if Jonathan Marchessault is not resigned. So William Karlsson is Stars and Stripes Forever. So they send him in case there is a tragedy where VGK does not resign or extend Jonathan Marchessault.
So if there's more William Karlsson news Tuesday or Wednesday, watch out. Is that what you're saying?
It's a preemptive strike.
If they all of a sudden talk about what's the name going to be and they start doing a poll and stuff like that, and yeah.
Coming up next,
more players that are multiplying, maybe. I don't know.
Oh, who do you like tonight? I think Edmonton bounces back.
I was actually looking, and then you disrupted me when I had to talk about the podcast and stuff. I was trying to find like points props for McDavid and stuff. When you said that, I want to get McDavid over 1.5 tonight. I'm going to take some action on that. But give me Edmonton. I'll triple down on it. I mean, you're not in trouble till you lose a home game. Blah 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 blah. I think Edmonton's got to find a way to steal one of these on the road, and it's gonna be a great crowd when they go back. Probably on Thursday. I'm assuming the way the NHL is doing it right now.
Yeah.
But it's going to be an amazing crowd when they get back to Edmonton. But that doesn't matter. Did you see all they keep showing the card or the Evan Rodriguez goal? Did you see all the empty seats in the arena for that goal? Like it was only 2 minutes into the second period. I get it, but oh my god, like where was everybody?
I think they were in LA. What's going on in
people
Sunrise,
are blasting
Florida?
Vegas and stuff like that because that's just what everyone outside of Vegas does. But Florida, where are you?
The preemptive strike. You like that story? Just randomly.
I liked it. It took a second.
It took a second for me to get it out there
yeah.
too. Okay, I did not expect that on any podcast. And coming up next, international hockey returns to the National Hockey League. Stay with us. More on the way right after this on Locked On Golden Knights. Welcome back on this edition of Locked On Golden Knights. Tony Cardasco with the preemptive strike here on Chris Golick. We appreciate you tuning in, making us your first listen each and every day. Find us wherever you get your podcasts. Has your dad talked to you again about rolling your eyes and stuff? Remember that was a thing. Of course.
No, I get it for my kids all the time. I finally get to give it back to somebody. It's great.
Well, on Fridays, it's WTF. And on Saturdays, it's the Chris and Chris Jr. Show, which is the YouTube exclusive. Please subscribe there. We definitely appreciate everyone tuning in and staying with us here, even in the off season, which is not really an off season. So we are here.
McDavid's minus 103 for over 1.5. Draisaitl's plus 195 over 1.5. I feel like the play is if you bet one, you bet them both.
Okay.
Because they're
daily double.
So that's that's what we're doing right now.
Okay. Per shame. No more NHL All-Star game. What is going on? No more Bellagio Fountain face-off. No more competitions for Alex Pietrangelo. No more hitting pucks at playing cards. No more shooting pucks at surfboards. Oh, my goodness. Well, we could still have those, of course, those skills competitions perhaps, but there will not be an all-star game this upcoming season. It'll be replaced by an in-season international tournament. It is a round-robin tournament, February the 12th through the 20th, Chris. The United States, Canada, Sweden, and Finland. Games in Montreal and at TD Gardens in Boston. And the final game will also be in Boston. So we have to look at the VGK players that could perhaps be in action for this international competition. Jack Eichel, Noah Hannafin, I think, perhaps maybe for the U.S. Canadians.
Yeah, I mean, I think it would be strong consideration.
In there. Okay, I put Aiden Hill or Logan Thompson, the entry, one of those. I think they like
one A, 1B, right, Tony? 1A, 1B.
I'm taking the entry there. Chandler Stevenson for Canada. Of Marchessault for Canada.
I would put Marchessault ahead of Stevenson, absolutely.
Will he be a VGK player at the time? That's why I left him off.
I mean, listen,
forever. Okay.
This is good. I mean, I'm not a fan of this, like a full-on Olympic competition. I know that's what we're trending back to, but for now, at least, we have four nations. That's what the name of the thing is. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There's a total of 7 games that are going to be played. So it's not like the players, and it's not 7 games for each individual country. I think the most a country can end up playing is 3 or 4 games at the most. So it's not like this crazy Olympic competition where they're going to play 10, 12 games that are probably going to be a lot more fierce than this. Isn't going to be an all-star competition. This will be full on. This is the first international competition in, gosh, probably over half a decade now.
Since 2014.
In a decade. Okay, fair enough. It's been that long.
That was in Sochi.
So there's going to definitely be some excitement there, and that's going to drive some energy. But this isn't going to be, I don't think, is the same if it was the World Cup of hockey, if it was an Olympic competition. So it's a good middle ground from from that, I guess. And the biggest fear, obviously, is watching players from your team in this competition. You hope they don't get injured. You really hope there's not an injury that happens either now or obviously something happens that down the road, fatigue, muscle, whatever it could be. But this is a good thing. Definitely a good thing. I'm excited for it. And it'll be interesting to see the VGK influence on this. And I don't know, does Cassidy get a coaching nod somewhere in this too?
Oh, maybe, perhaps. The Swedes will
She
be
should be on the
represented
bench one way
by
or the other, I would assume at the least.
William Karlsson will definitely be playing for Sweden. And then and it'll also mark the comeback of Robin Lehner, I'm sure, for Sweden. And there are no Finnish players on the VGK roster.
Can you imagine there was some I don't know if this is even possible, but if somehow Leonard did come back but he remains on LTIR with the Golden Knights?
U.S. team will have the likes of Tkachuk, Canada, McDavid, Crosby, and Makar. Even money favorites there.
Crosby? Really? Still think? Okay.
Yeah, of course. Okay. I mean, if they put Tarasi on the USA basketball team, for sure, he's got a chance. And then Finland was
that a Caden Clark shot or no?
Yeah, of course. Okay, Barkov from Finland, Matthias Ekholm for Sweden, along with William Karlsson. So I do have a little story here, and we're getting sidetracked all over the place here. So John Philip Sousa's Stars and Stripes Forever. Back in the 80s, when I was an intern for main events and boxing here in this city, because there were no internships in sports, but boxing and Formula One, I worked that. So what I did was Marvin Hagler, his walk-up song was Stars and Stripes Forever. I'm the intern. I need to go find that music for Hagler's entry into the ring against Thomas Hearns.
What year is this?
It's in the 80s, dude.
No. So it's not like you go on and get a digital thing. You got to get a physical.
That's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
Yes, I had to go find a cassette somewhere. A cassette. They vividly said.
Hold on, Tony. Tony, stop.
They needed.
Those don't know what a cassette is. It's about this big. There's
okay.
These two little windy things on the bottom. You can wind it with a pencil if you need to. You put it in this weird big box and you press play. Okay, keep going.
And the boom box, and you press play.
And then you hold the boom box up on your shoulder like this.
So I was out, and there's not very many record stores in Vegas, and I can't order this on Amazon.
Those
which didn't exist. So I went to like Tower Records on the Strip. I went all over the city wherever.
There was a tower on the Strip. Where was that at?
That one was up by my landmark was a strip club, so it's up near there. Notice that all the landmarks in Vegas are gentlemen's clubs, by the way. So anyway, I finally found it, like the last cassette standing in a box underneath, and it was underneath a bin, and we found it, and luckily I bailed myself out. What was I going to do? Drive to like LA to go get it? I couldn't let him down, but that was the walk-up music for one marvelous Marvin Hagler. You don't know what sort of gems we're going to toss at you.
Did he win? So what was the result of the fight, Tony? Did he get his butt kicked or did he win?
Of course he won.
Okay.
I saw another story, though, really peculiar. No, I'm not going to go there. Okay. I thought another fight was fixed, but that's another story. Okay. We appreciate everyone tuning in. I hope you got all the knowledge that you need today, and you found out some historical stuff here and what have you. Don't forget on Fridays, it's WTF What the Friday. Who wanted to do the show early today? I woke up at 3 a.m.
We might need to do when you have like a story time segment or something.
Okay, we could do some reading.
Mr. Rogers sweater and like some glasses. Maybe
we could read the 9 golden surgeries, the 9 golden surgeries, that book from this past season. Fridays, WTF. Saturdays, the Chris and Chris Jr. Show. We appreciate everyone tuning in. You have a great day, everyone, and we'll see you tomorrow right here on Locked On Golden Knights. And please take care.